Right now, you are moving at 1,000 miles per hour, and you cannot feel a thing. So, today, let's break the one rule that keeps you alive. Here's the game. The entire planet stops spinning for just 5 seconds, then starts again. 5 seconds that would become the wildest ride in all of human history. The ground under you spins faster than the speed of sound, yet your coffee sits perfectly still because everything around you is moving at exactly the same speed. Physicists call it inertia. Objects in motion stay in motion, which sounds harmless on a chalkboard and becomes a global catastrophe the instant the ground decides to quit. Picture a plane slamming its brakes at full speed while every passenger keeps going. Now scale that little disaster up to 8 billion people and one entire planet. So take one last calm sip and grip that mug tight, because in exactly 3, 2, 1, the whole Earth freezes and absolutely everything on it keeps going. Second one. The ground stops dead, but you launch east at up to 1,000 miles per hour, faster than a fighter jet and considerably less prepared for it. Cars, buses, cows, and your unfinished breakfast all keep moving east together like a tablecloth trick performed on every single city on the surface of the planet at once. Some good news though. The farther you live from the equator, the slower you were spinning. So, Paris only gets launched at around 650 miles per hour. The gauge tells the whole story. Top speed at the equator dropping steadily towards zero at the poles, which means location suddenly matters more than anything else alive. Stand exactly on the South Pole, and you barely move at all. You just rotate gently in place like a figure skater watching the apocalypse do a lap. Second two, the atmosphere never got the memo about stopping, so all that air keeps rushing east and the entire planet is suddenly standing inside one worldwide hurricane. The strongest wind gust ever recorded on Earth hit 253 miles per hour in Australia. This wind runs roughly 4 times stronger than that world record. Trees, billboards, rooftops, and at least one very surprised trampoline all go airborne at once as every skyline on the planet gets shuffled like a deck of cards. Quick question while the scenery flies past. If you were safe inside a bunker right now, would you honestly peek out the window? Be truly honest with yourself. Second three belongs to the ocean. 352 quintillion gallons of water that absolutely loves inertia and absolutely refuses to stop just because the ground did. The seas slosh east like soup in a bowl slammed onto a table, and waves taller than skyscrapers rise up and start marching straight toward the coastline. Trace it on the map. The Pacific hurls itself onto the coast of Asia, while the Atlantic hands Europe and Africa the most unwelcome bath in recorded history. And somewhere in the middle of all this, you are still tumbling east while somehow miraculously, heroically keeping that coffee mug upright, because honestly, priorities are priorities. Seconds 4 and 5 are strangely calm. Everything that was going to fly has already flown, and the world just hangs there like a snow globe mid-shake. Here's a weird bonus. With the planet frozen, the sun just stops in the sky, so sunset is cancelled, time zones are meaningless, and everywhere shares one single moment. Enjoy this pause and breathe it in, because the scariest part of this entire scenario was never the stopping. It is what happens when the spinning comes back. Second 6, the Earth snaps back to 1,000 miles per hour instantly, and everything that just flew east gets violently yanked right back the other way again. The winds flip direction, the oceans slosh backwards, and the entire disaster replays itself in rewind across every single city still busy processing the damage from round 1. It's like slamming the brakes in a car, then flooring the gas while everything is still bouncing. Whatever survived the first round gets a second round completely free. Final score: 2 global megastorms, 2 world-spanning floods, 1 thoroughly rearranged planet, and 1 cup of coffee that has frankly been through far too much today. The weeks after would stay strange. Scrambled winds, bizarre weather, oceans sloshing like a bathtub, and scientists arguing for a whole century about what on earth happened. Now, the actual bright side: this cannot happen. Nothing in our solar system could stop a planet weighing 13 septillion pounds that has spun smoothly for 4 billion years. The rotation is changing, though, slowing about 2 milliseconds per century thanks to the moon, meaning a 25-hour day arrives in roughly 200 million years. So where would you ride out the pause? The bunker or the pole with the penguin? Tell us below, then stay curious, because your coffee is now completely cold.